Hey y'all see the thumbnail, child. Y'all see who we're about to talk about. Let's go over here and see what Q got to say this time. She's still trying to explain away why her husband can't come to America. Here's my thing. Q gets out here. She says one thing and does another. The first minute she's going to keep it private. She's not going to tell people anything because the devils and the demons are speaking against her. I've never did any of that. And I don't think she should ever say that about anybody, considering she came out here and admitted that she used to practice witchcraft. So yeah, you don't need to be calling nobody devils, warlocks, demons, any of those names. But anyway, I'm trying to figure out why is Q so mad about content that she puts out here and people have a difference of opinion. Q is not new to YouTube. She's not new to this. She's been out here for almost a decade. Q knows that YouTube allows us to critique, criticize, educate, whatever it is that we want to do with the materials that she chooses to put out here. So for her to come out here and speak to people so condescending and hateful because they have a difference of opinion or they may have a question or a misunderstanding, it's crazy to me.
But just from my experience and from doing my research, I was just like, no. And that's why I thank God for my husband. He was always against it. His family was against it. People in his family have traveled out to give birth. People that I've talked to, friends that I've made, have traveled out to give birth that are Nigerian.
Now, Q, I'm calling you out on this. So y'all remember when she was doing those segments about what Nigerian traditions they will and won't be doing, what American traditions they will and won't be doing. Now, why didn't she mention, she was saying she was undecided. She was going to different medical facilities, visiting different hospitals and stuff, and she was undecided. Well, if her husband always wanted this, if the family always wanted this, everybody was telling you to get out of there and have your baby, why was she undecided then? That doesn't make any sense.
Americans that I've made friends with have traveled out, went back home, whether they're going to Canada, whether they're going to Mexico. It just certain things that just make you uncomfortable while you're getting that prenatal care and you're seeing like, oh my gosh, like they don't wear gloves. Oh my gosh, they're using a machine that's like so outdated, like from freaking 1975.
So now all of a sudden the doctor's using outdated and obsolete technology. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that doctor, when she went to get that ultrasound, that we didn't know what we were looking at, but yeah, he looked like he came straight from the market, honey. He didn't have on any scrubs, a white coat, or any of that. So she might not be lying about that part, honey.
We're in 2026 and they're using a machine from 1975, 2D machine, 1D machine, or is everything accurate? Is the blood count accurate? Is the ultrasound accurate? Is everything accurate? You know what I mean? So that is the major reason as to why we decided that Nigeria was just not the country for us to give birth in.
Now, I thought you was living the good life over there in Nigeria. You wouldn't have it any other way. Everything was so swell and grand over there. Now, I'm going to call this out. Q has a history now. She's got a pattern of this behavior of talking bad about the people over in Nigeria when she comes back to the United States. She did the same thing to her husband, his family, and friends.
As I said, every person that I ever came across that was Nigerian said, I hope that you're not giving birth here. I hope that you're going abroad to give birth. I hope you're going back home to give birth. And it had nothing to do with my son being an American citizen, because my son would have been an American citizen no matter where I gave birth at in the world. If I had gave birth in Nigeria, he would have been a Nigerian citizen and we would have been able to get him dual citizenship, but he would have been an American first, even if he was born on Nigerian soil. So for a Nigerian that will go out, if she goes to a country that has birthright citizenship, she can decide that, okay, I want to go give birth, let's say in Mexico. Mexico has birthright citizenship, and they also have a better birthing system and medical system as well.
Now, Q is sounding real bothered. It's like she's trying to convince herself, not only us, but trying to convince herself. Q just does not seem to be happy about this pregnancy to me. I have yet to see that pregnancy glow. That happiness, that joy. First time moms, it's different when you're a first time mom, but you just don't hear her really focus on a lot of positivity. She's always coming out here trying to deflect, debunk, and be smart with people.
It makes a Nigerian woman more comfortable and confident in giving birth. So not only will she get better care than in Nigeria, but she will also have the opportunity to have birthright citizen, where her child will become Mexican, and then she can migrate to Mexico, and her husband can eventually become permanent residents of Mexico.
Girl, you need to get you some throat spray, some allergy medication, or something. But yeah, you already tried that when you moved to Barbados. Stayed over there burning up, having all them barrels sent over there, and he still didn't show up. She had to come back to the United States and go back to Nigeria.
I think America is trying to do away with birthright citizenship with Donald Trump being in office and all that. Speaking of Donald Trump, a lot of people are asking, why didn't your husband come? Isn't he distraught? No, my husband is not distraught. And I wish some of you guys would stop thinking that you know someone or how somebody would feel. You don't know the conversations that my husband and I have had. You don't know his thoughts. You don't know my thoughts. You don't know how we move as a family. You don't know how he feels. My husband is happy with me making a decision to come to America. Why? Because he knows that his wife and his son will be getting the absolute best care, and they will be coming into this world safely by the grace of God. And it will end in happiness and glory, and it will end in praise and thanksgiving.
Woo, child, honey, I told y'all she was mad. You can't even ask a question. So if you're not going along with Q's narrative and how she feels about it, then you're being in her business, you're being stupid, you're being this, you're being that. And I think that's a valid question. Now, I want y'all to listen. I want y'all to peep the play. Look at what she's trying to do, the narrative that she's trying to push about the Trump administration. Now, mind you, she got married to him back in 2022. Trump was not president then. So why can't this man get a visa? If you're going to talk about it, come on and be honest about it, or leave it alone. She doesn't have to tell us anything.
Yeah, just because he's not here does not mean that he's not happy. It does not mean that he won't, he's not here physically, but it doesn't mean that he won't see his son be born. Technology is a thing. He might not be here physically, but technology is a thing. Also, and I would never want to just give birth to my child without my husband being there. Like, that just doesn't even make any sense. Why would I want to just not have my husband there? My husband it's not possible for my husband to be here right now because there's currently, if you don't know, there is a ban. Donald Trump placed a ban on all Nigerians trying to come to America right now. It is physically impossible to come to America as a Nigerian, and that's one of 30 countries. Nigeria is one of 30 countries where Donald Trump has placed a ban. So if you don't already have a visa, and I'm not going to break it down any further than that because some of you guys are just not on the level to even comprehend that. But if you don't already have a visa to get into the United States of America, they are not issuing you a visa to America. The office is not even taking your application. It's not even looking at. You can submit it and pay all this money. It will be a waste of your time because they're not even open. They're not going to look at your application. They're not going to do anything because Donald Trump has placed a ban on all Nigerians trying to come to America, whether it be your first time or your second time. If you don't have a visa, you're not coming. So you can just forget it. You're not coming.
Girl, at this point, it's giving misplaced anger. You just need to stay off social media if you can't get your emotions together. She out here being aggressive with people. It's not our fault that man can't get a visa. It's y'all fault. He needed a sponsor or something, honey. Maybe he didn't have enough coins in the bank. I don't know the reason, but I do know that Donald Trump was not in office in 2022. But anyway, y'all drop down in the comments. Bye, y'all.
So that is why my husband is not here. That is one of the reasons why my husband is not here. To see his son give birth physically. So when I see things in the comments, it's very annoying and it's very frustrating because some of you guys literally talk like you know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You're not living in someone's shoes. You're just watching. And then to turn around and have such a huge opinion and have a huge comment about someone being selfish, someone deciding to make a decision, like it's mind-boggling. It really is. It's mind-boggling. And you don't know. or you try to tell me what's going on in Nigeria and you've never been in Nigeria before, you have no affiliation with Nigeria, you don't know anything about birthing in Nigeria, and you're asking me why I'm not giving birth in Nigeria and all these questions and this, that, and the third.